Cradle. Let's get caught up where we left off. So before we started on the rock monster, we actually worked on this base right here. This is his base, and I wanted to get the lava all locked in first, so it's done. I really like this rock color scheme, which is just like grays and turquoises, blacks and stuff. So we use this in our big airbrush laydown, which is, you know, admittedly not tight yet, right? So it's goofy and out of focus. It's not there yet. But we use the same kind of functionality to get his airbrush laid out. We've blocked in a couple of zones. We're not going anywhere near narrative and lore on this guy. We're just doing our own thing. That's what I do. Today, what I'm going to start off with now is I'm going to sneak the airbrush back out, kind of pop these zones back out. These are just like brown ochre. So we're going to pop them out just a little bit with their airbrush. A little overspray might get involved here, but I'm going to pull the paintbrush back out, and I'm going to go kind of panel by panel and change them to be more dramatic using the foundation that we lay with the airbrush, which will make like the wet blending / glazing experience much easier. So we're going to go on a journey. I'm not going to use washes and dry brushes, which would be very easy on this guy. He's got a lot of texture, a lot of washability, a lot of dry brushability. But I'm trying to go like ultra contrast. It's a harder journey, but satisfying in the end for me. And then we'll snap him on this base at the end. Off to the races. Dreaded Paints. My dude. Good morning. Playing my first double tournament today, so gonna rep the good of the Heretic War Gear. Bring the ruckus. Oh shit! Bringing the ruckus to your doubles tournament, Dreaded Paints. Make sure you take pictures, bro. Get some selfies with your opponents. Spread the good word. JDA 50 months. Oof. JDA, thank you, man. Legend. All right, so let's pull out the compressor. Let's get the airbrush engaged. Just knock that out real quick. Okay, so probably gonna just start with raw ass ochre. Maybe a little flow improver in the pot, because I think it was just transparent brown and a little ochre. Is what I did. Swirl that in. Maybe a little water. I'm gonna dial this throttle down. Looks good. Dreaded Paints playing with Harlequins because your first ever army finally got some good love. Hell, dude, don't you have to justify fucking being OP? OP's the way of life. Okay, so what we're going to try to do is just shoot some highlights in carefully. Right over that color combination. Now, do my best to kind of work with the panels. You say, and not just paint the whole foot. Like I'm trying to isolate little zones. Build a little bit of a transition, a little intrigue in there. That's just raw ochre. Over ochre mixed with transparent brown. And I'm just pulling the needle back very slightly. I'm really just trying to control the angle so my flow doesn't get on the rock monster himself. And you can see how by basing with a paintbrush, real just kind of rapid fire, hitting all this boot, this makes the airbrush's job very easy because now its job is just to highlight. It's not about coverage. So now you can get some really solid intrigue really quick. Okay. I'm, pretty thin on my mix. I've dialed the throttler so I have a little bit more control when I get this close. And this will give me a lot of leeway for later pin washing and edge highlighting and stuff. I'm going to get a little overspray on some of the red I already painted. That's fine with me. I just want to get that out of the way now so I can repaint it later. Kalski, what up, brother? So now you see we've got some nice cool shit happening on his boots. Let's get in tight right here on the knee. Let's cheat the angle. Right there. Havoc. Yo, that's my dude right there. Long time no see, homie. What you been up to, dog? Let's get these fingers. Just find the clever angle. Cause you're shooting off into the worlds right here as I'm working that knuckle. Rotate down, just kind of shooting in right there. Let's shoot off on these little vents. Try not to get it on the blue. I'm going to shoot it in from the bottom up right here on this side. I'm going to rotate again like a half turn. Shoot off right here. From the other angle. Now his head's going to be a little bit more controversial. We're going to throw a little bit more water in there to thin it down. Bruce, what's up, man? I'm going to dial my throttler a little bit more. Pop my little cap off. Ice Dale, how much pressure? I'm at 20 psi, but I'm using this valve right here to really throttle. It's better than trying to lower the psi in your compressor. So we're going to try to get in right on the top of his dome. You don't want it to get all wet and opaque and built up. You just want to see the shift and quit. Okay? That's it. Let it dry for a minute. I'm going to rotate, shoot down its face. Now, the runes around him, I think I can do some work on those if I'm real careful. See? I'm coming from this direction now. And it's okay if I get overspray on things because I haven't done any painting yet. You know what I mean? This is just building the whole image. See? Little bright, dark, bright kind of shift right there. I'm going to stack another sheet of opacity on this ochre. Impending Duff, is that my dude right there? Mr. Duff. Here's a little overspray for you. We're going to go a little brighter now, okay? We're going to stay in that kind of natural spectrum, though. So right now it just has ochre, and now I'm going to put a squirt of ivory in the pot. I don't just drop every paint I own. John Patrick, that's my dude. So this ivory should brighten the mix. And I'm gonna just pop a little bit more highlight in. This is real. This is a real respectful shift, and we're not going very bright, just a little brighter. Just gonna pick out a couple of key areas. I'm gonna dial it in a little bit more. Just a little bit right there. It's like a half step in the highlight. Right there. Right there. But I dump some of that out. Just leave a little dirty paint water in the pot. Put my cap back on. I'm going to put a squirt of bold titanium white in there. A little brighter, you see that? A little flow improver. Get curated here. Okay, so we're going to pop a couple of these spots back out even further. I'm looking for the right angle on this helmet. Right there. Just pop a couple little spots out. Mechanic painting. Got my 2-knot contender dreadnoughts in the mail today. Pretty stoked. Yeah, you did. Congrats on that. Okay, we're gonna leave just some real dirty paint water in there. Another drop or two of titanium white. Make it real low opacity, lots of moisture. So it's an even brighter mix. There we go. Getting a little overspray in some spots I didn't want, but that's okay. Easy to wipe out, but we're getting a real nice shiny feeling here. Just adding a little exclamation point to certain spots. Pop, 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 pling. And I might even go one step further. I put a little bit more white in there. Just because this is 1,000 times easier to do with my airbrush than with a paintbrush. So I just want to make sure I get as far up in the sequence as I can right now, so then later it's easier for me. So a lot more white, a lot more water. Just cleaning that tip off. So there we go. It's very, very wet. We gotta be careful here. Just getting that pop, 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 pow. Just put a little bit more white in the center of that shine, right? Bright, dark, bright, dark. Quick crossfade. There you go. Man, Rodzilla, that's an old schooler. That's a legend right there. What's up, brother? I'm going to reinforce right here. Okay, I'm going to dump the pot. Kaioku, Sunshine Grenadier in chat. What a player. Squeebles. Are there any videos of Battletech mini Squeebles? Nah, man. I got that Giga Robo robot I did a while back. I'm rinsing the pot, guys. Do a quick hobo fling, hobo rinse. Okay. I'm going to do one last thing. So I'm going to kind of yellow up the real estate a little bit with a little transparent yellow. So that's some straight transparent yellow right there. A little bit of moisture. And what I'm going to do is use this to... God, my fucking valve is dirty. Clogged. So I'm going to use this to kind of just carefully and gingerly yellowify some of this ochre. By applying this yellow filter right over it. You can see that. And I'm not like repainting it, I'm just like augmenting. You see how that just shifted? Pow! I'm just kind of aiming almost in the mid tone. To help goldify it. Look how beautiful that is. Now I think I'm going to do one last step, and I'm going to orangify it a little bit in the shadow, right? And so we're going to go to the dark tone of that ochre brown and give it an orange filter. So I just did a quick hobo rinse. I'm going to steal a little bit of, a little transparent orange. And there's a little residual yellow in there, which is perfect. All right, feeling good about that. Frozen Hobby, you can't believe the impact the yellow had. Yeah, it's gangster, right? Now we're going to shoot direct the orange into more, like I said, more into the dark tone. And it's not even close to opaque, right? Shit is like 1%. But it's going to take on some of those browns that we threw in there and interact with the ochres. And so give us a subtle orange filter over all that. It's really low opacity, and it's going to have very subtle impact on the darker zones. So you might have to work it a little bit more. But it'll take it off of the straight brown. Give it a little more complexity. It doesn't have nearly enough ash to actually change the brown in an opaque way. go. I'm going to sneak in here on the boot. Just kind of trace in some nice shadows. And it will breathe a little bit of saturation back into the gold, but we'll also kind of keep it, you know, not, you know, fire orange at the base. Sorry, I was doing the boots off camera. Beautiful. Beautiful. So that's about where I want to take it. So now I'm going to rinse the pot real quick, guys. LT Rico. What's up, man? Alright, so we're just going to do a quick hobo fling, hobo rinse. And then we're going to do a little paintbrushing. Cut the compressor. I'm going to put the airbrush into my simple green bath. Right here. I'm going to just kind of backflow it in there and flush it. And this is where it'll stay until the next time we use it. Okay. So now it's time to pull out the old paintbrush. Not bad. So, major colors or slash paints we've been using on this project. We're using this neutral gray. Is this it? Yeah, just straight neutral gray. LT Rico, thanks for the Prime sub, homie. So we've been using this neutral gray just to get a lot of extra work done. We used pure turquoise to get the cooling effect inside the rocks, but I want to get a little bit more gray than that. But with the airbrush, it is what it is right now. We're going to tweak it, okay? And we're going to put a little coal black in there. Okay? And we may dig in for white. So, it's kind of our recipe. It's real simple, right? It's honestly... The gray is relevant because it's really just black and white and that, but the gray is helpful to have in this quantity right now. Talus, thank you for the resub, brother. So we have the airbrushing of the rocks pretty much set up. So now all I have to do is kind of go section by section and clean it up. Okay, I'll start with right around his chest. Okay. So, same exact color palette, but I want it to be a little bit on the grayer side. So what I'll probably do is pull out some of this gray. A little bit of that blue. Something like that. Just testing it before I go too hard here. Now, I'll probably just jump in here. It's semi-opaque and a little wet, and I'm going to just run in here with a semi-opaque mix. Kind of right there and wipe out my overspray. You see that? Using mostly a heart pull strategy. And it's going to be a perfect color match because I know exactly what I use. But I am also taking this time to grade up a little bit. So I'm going to focus down on just the front section. And I'm going to use my eyes and kind of break up these into shapes. So I can start to see the shapes come together. So what I'm going to do now is maybe steal a little white into the mix. While it's semi-opaque and a little wet, I'm going to just kind of lift this little strip of rock up right here. Maybe this one. And the cool thing about painting this way right over your airbrushing is that you never really have to worry about opacity because they're literally the same paints. You're just fucking with them. So I'm going to take a little of the black and gray right here. Just stipple it in while it's still wet. And see, I'm making it grayer, like less blue. Okay? And that's kind of what I want. A little bit more black right here. Mystic Miniatures, 20 months. A little black right there. So I'll get a little shadow in there. I'm going to switch it out. Get some more of the blue and gray going right here. Maybe a touch of the white. And I'm going to just walk into that with loose semi-opaque paint. So I basically just engineered a little pin wash border in there. And a highlight. A little bit more. Rotate right here. I'm going to switch back, move it down to more of the shadow. Just kind of clean that up. I'm going to pick more white out right here. See, I'm just looking at the shapes of those rocks. See that? A little bit of moisture right here, maybe a little bit of the gray. And I'm going to just kind of stipple in maybe a little bit more blue and white. Just kind of soften that jagged highlight I made. And it's so easy because, again, this is not even about coverage. We're just augmenting paint that's already on the model. And I'm using just my number 4 right now. And just really just going up and down, right? There's only two things. It's only two directions. It gets brighter, it gets darker. And I know what makes it brighter, and I know what makes it darker. I'm just stippling in right here. I'm going to take some of this highlighter. Stipple right here. Go down to the mid-tone. Stipple right there. So I'm pulling out those rock shapes. You see that? The gentleman in chat. What's up, man? This means looking sick always. Thanks, man. The squig herd. What's up, brother? Okay. And I'm going to just keep finishing the action. You see we got some overspray back here. So we'll grab the kind of that stock bluish gray black right here. And I'm going to use a little bit more high opacity mix. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to use more of a semi-opaque, a little wet heart pull position where I'm just dragging back to my body, carefully keeping it nice and wet, working off of a wet edge. Rotate. Keep that line moving. Okay, while it's wet, let's pick up some white. A touch of the blue. Just drag that right into that wet ass paint. Get a free highlight right there. And it's a wet glaze strategy, and I've mentioned this before. Wet glazing really works well over the airbrushing. So all I do is take the airbrushing and dramatize it. Okay. Maybe a little bit more opaque. Some white right here. It's still wet enough that it's going to catch a little bit of that fuzzing. Brews, games, rides. Oh wait, the Squig Herd. That was a raid. The Squig Herd just raided us, guys. Can I get some strong man and or woman love for the Squig Herd coming in with that raid? And Brews, Games, Rides, thank you for the resub. My man Miffy in chat says, how things, bro? We're just trying to do what we do. My brother. David SM, thanks for chatting. All these new people in here. Right now we're just doing some wet glazing over airbrushing and dramatizing our model right now. Exclamation point Mammoth, if you're new here, you want to get a free STL, follow the link train. Check it out. We're going back to this middle tone mess, which is just some combination of turquoise and gray, keeping it semi-opaque and wet. And we're just cutting out our overspray from the airbrush. We're going to pick up some white, maybe a touch of the turquoise right here. And we're just, while it's still wet, just going to drag a quick heart pull right here. Squig Herd and crew. We're going to get a free blend right there. Perfect color match because it's exactly the same paints I used when I airbrushed. With a little bit more opacity now and a little bit lighter touch, I should be able to kind of stipple on this seam here. Still from the heart pull position. We'll backtrack, soften that line as we move down here. And you got to be careful because the instinct to dry brush is strong with this many textures, but you can just kind of stipple in and catch some of those textures, like so. So what we did was we fixed that zone and record time, right? It looks real good, real sharp. Yashagaru, thank you for the follow. I'm here because of the raid, but now I can't get my eyes off that model. Thank you, brother. Cat painting in the chat, gifting some subs. Show your man some love right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to downgrade paintbrush size. I think I just got a... Yeah, this brush is on its way out, but it's small enough. This brush looks like shit. This one. So I'm going to downgrade paintbrush size. And again, the whole airbrush sequence was just these paints, and I'm back to them. So now I'm going to get in tight, now that I've repaired that zone. We're going to get a little of that black gray here. Semi-opaque and a little wet using our tiny brush. And I'm going to use the heart pull strategy. And I'm going to just really define the borders between these little rock shapes that I have preserved. Always rotate the model to facilitate a nice heart pull. And all contrast is just separating elements of the model so you can see them easier. Little borders, little frames. Kindergarten coloring rules. And see how I'm committed to making this rock monster very defined. Where the instinct to use wash and dry brushing will get a nice result, no doubt. It's just, you know, this crispiness is what I'm after. Sunshine and Grenadier in the chat. Beast mode engaged. You can't see this, man. Can I get some strong man love in the chat for Sunshine Grenadier coming in with a 10x multiplier, 230 bonus yo dollars for my dude. This is my dude that is looking dope. Thank you, homie. And I hope, Sunshine Grenadier, that you realize, like, this style of painting is not that elusive, right? We're just using our airbrush kung fu. And Sunshine Grenadier is a black belt in the Next Level Painting 101 curriculum. So we created some nice shadows. Now let's oppose that, right? Let's move up back to our mid game, right? Just literally gray and blue. That's what we're working with, right? Let's get a little brighter here. And let's see if we can work with a little bit higher opacity, lower moisture. Some nice top shine. Kraken, thank you for the raid. I get some love right there for Kraken. Show that man some love. Hit that follow button. Hoffmeister Minis, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. You want free STLs? Exclamation point Mammoth. A little bit of heart pull right here for Sunshine Grenadier. Dedicating these lines to him. He picked up bonus Yo Dogs, and it is a top T promo day. So just using higher opacity, lower moisture, and really just working the heart pull stipple game, the sewing machine stroke. And we're defining the tops of things. You see that? And these shapes are very subtle in the Rock Monster, but they're there. And all I did was define them with over dramatic lines. Contrast is just that separation. In this example. And I also was able to kind of grade up a little bit, take it a little bit off the blue, but I like having the blue there to work with from the airbrush step. See that? Let's take a little bit of the black gray from before. Semi-opaque, a little wet. Let's make sure to define some of this a little better. I just want to make sure we do our best because this is a prime viewing angle on the model. And I want to make sure it looks really pretty. Now, there's some like pipe ledges here that I may need to just pretend they're rock for now. See that? It's gonna bother me if they're not addressed. Semi-opaque and a little wet. See those? Ramping up the pipe game. I may need to put a little highlight right there. There we go. So now you see we did some quick and dirty airbrushing. Then we just fixed the overspray and we made the top of his torso very defined. Looks like I'm some baller ass blend guy, but I'm not, right? Just doing the simplest techniques in the game. Let's move back here. Get a little brighter, right? Again, these are our paints, but realistically, it's just this blue jumping into gray. I'm only using the black and the white to go up and down. So I'm just getting a little bit brighter, more opacity, less moisture. And I'm going to just kind of heart pull stipple along this seam here just to enhance it. Okay. Let's get a little bit more respectful, more in the mid game. He's got these strips here. And I want to just run a quick heart pull along the ledge. It's kind of wet. That's good. I'm going to move back to the gray and just bully right into that wetness for a nice capillary blend. Okay. Let's downgrade to something a little bit darker. The entire Mac in chat. What up, player? We're going to go to a shadow right here for the entire Mac. Semi-opaque and a little wet. Let's hard pull that pin wash right in there. lift those little rings away from whatever they're attached to. Semi-opaque and a little wet. Be a little bit blacker than that. Let's see here. See that they're popping out a lot more now. And I'm not going to make every little part of this guy like the most baller blended. Just picking the areas that matter the most. High opacity, low moisture. Heart pull. There's another little shelf like right here. Kind of got lost in the optics of the model. I just realized it. Just kind of bringing it back into visibility a little bit easier on my eyes now. Be a little bit of the turquoise in there. There we go. So I'm going to reach in a little bit deeper with pretty much pure black, semi-opaque and a little wet. And I'm going to try to get right up against the base in here. Using the tip of my brush to deploy that shadow. I may have fucked up. May have fucked up real bad, guys. Got a little bit in the diagram I did not want to get it into. Let's see how bad it is. Let's see if I can recover it. Let's see if I can just say... I mean, there is like this bevel there, so maybe I can get away with that. All right, I think that rides. Love Minis, I can't get your donator to show up. Donator. Talk about exclamation point donate, Love Minis. I'm gonna put it down for 1 second right here. Let's see if I can keep that black line going. Semi-opaque and just a little wet to ride in that rail using the tip of my brush. Try to keep it as straight as you can. Rotate. Don't keep that windshield wiper motion going. Stop and keep rotating. Spin it. Rotate. Try to define that border. Keep it crisp. No sunshine. Oh, you can't. Oh, you can't give him his Yodogs. Are you like? Is Yodog bought off? Try it again. I just turn it off, turn it back on. Alright. You got fucked. We're good now. All right, let's clean up that ledge a little bit because it's a little sloppy. So I'm gonna go back to the gray and just kind of clean it up where it looks a little shitty. All right, so let's take that same black, maybe a little gray, and let's see if we can carefully. This is tricky, man. Let's see if we can wipe this out. That's definitely kind of hard. Trying to keep the opacity high and the angle correct on a perfect circle is tricky. There may be some mistakes. It's high risk because any mistake you make when you're throwing black down over yellow like this is a bitch to fix. Look at that. Look at that. Aching for bacon. Would you look at that? It's one of them happy accidents. Okay, so let's get up on his face because I left a bunch of his face components unpainted. So let's get some of that gray blue going here. Let's see if we can just carefully... Oh, I got a speck of gray right on his fucking head when I wasn't paying attention. So there's like a seam in his helmet there. And I'm kind of just piling it on with some stippling technique. Kind of roughing it in. Being as careful and respectful as I can. All right, let's grab a little of the black, blue. See if I can get a little border around his little earmuff. Right there. Okay, let's grab a little white turquoise in the mix. A little highlight action right there. We're walking the seam. Maybe we're going to downgrade a little bit more moisture. Just kind of stipple right up into that highlight. Just disperse it slightly. There you go. Let's rotate to this side. Same thing. Let's pick some of that highlight up. Monument slow fuse. That's my boy Jason Craze, baby. I'm gonna get some strong man love right there. Jason and Gentastic Monument. As we work on this Mammoth promo together. Yo, what up? What up? Welcome, welcome. Exclamation point Mammoth if you want a free STL. We are going hard, making this rock monster not a lava monster. Like, we were going completely against the kind of the cannon of this guy and just going with our hearts. And it is creating a fun experience. I'm bringing just a little bit of high opacity stippling right here on that seam. And we did a lot of airbrushing, and we just begun the brush work to like you can see right here, this little snapshot right here. We just kind of start shifting the airbrushing stuff. So it's gonna be a labor of love, but I don't think it's gonna take too long to paint this guy. I think he's gonna be kind of easy. Exclamation point bonus, exclamation point top T. We got a lot of promos here today. And if you want free STL, exclamation point mammoth. Now, before I jump into the red, because I want to really get a snapshot up here, I'm going to focus a lot up here. What I may do now is go back in time. We were using transparent brown. Okay. Monument Hobbies, Pro Acryl. A little transparent brown. That was a big part of the yellow. We also used ochre, which is an even bigger part of the yellow. We definitely snuck in at different stages with our airbrush game. Transparent orange. So this is kind of like my pin wash sequence right here. So I'm going to try to do some stuff to these runes gently. And so I may need to put some transparent yellow down too. You never know. Muzz, what up, brother? So what I'm going to do is create a respectful pin wash here. And I'm just going to kind of combine all of the paints. A little moisture. Looking for something a little darker than what's there. But very respectful. And what I want to do is just jam this into the little rune game. Very carefully. So just laying it into those runes. You see how this is barely enough, but right here in the bright area, it's perfect. And we're going to run a little strip right there. And we're going to move up. Same kind of deal right here. Stipple into that seam. And we're going to just drag it in as semi-opaque and a little wet. So we can define those runes and give us a nice lip. But as I move around, I need to get darker, right? So brown is going to get us darker. Transparent brown. And I'm always trying to keep it respectful, okay? Move back here. I'm going to get a little bit more brown. Maybe a touch of more orange. And we're just going to keep moving around, okay? With a need to get darker as we move. Just using some light stipples, a little bit of heart pull strategy, just the tip of the brush. Keeping the paint a little bit on the transparent side and wet side helps get in that crevice and not ruin anything. Okay, and now we're getting to the darkest place, so probably a lot more brown. inside those little rune cavities. And now you can see that all that action. I'm going to take some of this slurry we made, and I'm going to carefully and gently try to get a nice border going here. That was the heart pull. I was being real careful there. I'll do a little on the bottom. Kind of lock it in. A little back here, using the tip of the brush. Try to keep it kind of straight, even though you're in a curve. Down here. Help lock all that in. Make it beautiful, make it beautiful. Now, since I'm fucking with these paints, let's grab some white, grab some yellow. And let's just carefully fix my mistake up there. I go with pretty much pure white here. Very high opacity. And there was a little bit of a mistake there, and I just kind of erased it with that. All right. And I may create a nice highlight, a little bit more subtle, using the combination of these paints. And I might just kind of keep it going. In some of these areas right here. I don't want to get bogged down on it though. Now his eyes are going to be a whole thing. I'm just going to go in there right now, paint them pure white. Just get it out of the way. High opacity. Pretty sure he's like got a little nose here. He's got like a bit of a smile. I'm just kind of base coating those, something really bright for later. Now, running it back here. Since I am right here, let me just do a quick high opacity tracer edge highlight right here. Right, it's just white and yellow. Let's rotate back this way. Carefully do the same thing on this side. Maybe get a little bit more respectful. And we're just tracing that ledge. Hold your breath, swing it from right to left. And it's going to pop those out like crazy. None of this was really meant for this technique. It's very textured, very rocky. We're going to just stipple in a little bit of an under highlight on this big hole here. We're going to rinse it down. We're going to go into our pin wash again. The darker puddle. And we're going to go inside those holes. A little stippling. There's like a couple scratches right here. Just kind of help lift it up a little bit. Take a little bit of almost pure white. A little bit of almost pure white right here. Now we're going to rinse that down. Let's go back to black gray. And let's just repair inside there. Looking good. Okay, good snapshot. Now I want to go back to the red here. It's burgundy. I'm going to jump into burgundy here in 1 second. Shout out to Azrael for the 20-month resub. Thank you so much, brother. I'm going to grab some transparent red first. And I'm going to use this in his eyes, okay? This will make a nice magenta feeling in there. I'm going to lower the opacity a lot. And I'm just going to kind of creep in there. Plenty of moisture. Create like a nice little pin wash effect. You can kind of see like he's got this like skull design. So I laid that in there semi-opaque, or very transparent actually. And now I'm going to reach in with the white again, with a little bit of the transparent red on it. Now I got a nice eye right there. Pow! And I'll come back to that and do some glowing later, but I just wanted to see the eyes, right? I want to have a snapshot. A little bit more white. Before we get down and dirty, you know, I wanted to be able to see what's happening. And of course, since I'm here, let me get a little bit of that white ochre kind of highlight mix we've been playing with. Muzz, what's up, brother? Says contrast looks amazing. Just wow. Late in the UK. Work tomorrow. Thanks, sir. Take care. Much love, brother. Thanks, brother. It's all about the contrast game. High opacity. Using our highlight game right here. And just creating little borders, little defined edges. A little bit more white.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
Frozen Hobbit. Hashtag Dirty Mike Life.
Have sex in your car. It will happen again.
Exclamation point. Soup. Thanks for the F Shack. Love Dirty Mike and the boys. Frozen Hobbit. Stoked for the second class tomorrow. Prepared to witness an inappropriate amount of brush pressure. Frozen Hobbit, one of my students. Thank you so much, brother. Can I get some strongman love? Frozen Hobbit, I got you back, Doug. So I'm just carefully getting the seam High opacity, low moisture. A bit
Hey,
of
are
a
you Dirty
stipple.
Mike and the boys?
The cops! Drop
War
your keys on the
pigment.
car as you run away. We
Oh,
are
a
gonna
double,
have sex
a
in your
double
car.
Dirty
It will
Mike.
happen again.
The old scratch and jack. That's a 2x multiplier. Both people right there. War Pigment and Frozen Hobbit getting 46 bonus Yodogs. On top of everything. Thank you. Let's rotate this guy back here. Let's get a little bit more respectful. Let's move down our sequence. Somewhere along this line, perhaps. And let's get a little bit of a highlight right here. In the dark area. So I went back in time to something that wouldn't have been a highlight on the brighter area. Or transition. To make a nice respectful seam right there. Okay, that would be like a shadow on the front. Speaking of shadows, I need to embed a little pin wash, so running in some brown in that mix. Be a little orange. I want to get under his visor ledge right here. Maybe a little bit more brown. I'm gonna lower the opacity a lot. Just smear some in there. Because there is a bit of overspray. Kind of just repairing down there. Alright, so what we gotta do is we gotta fix his little collar. Okay, so we're gonna go back to Burgundy real quick. This one's for War Pigment. Frozen Hobbit. I'm gonna get some strong Soup Kitchen love in the chat right there. Matt Wellman. It's almost summer. I'm getting ready to learn from the master again. Oh shit, Matt coming back to the classes. JD8, thank you, man. Okay, so we need Burgundy. And we're gonna repaint. What brush do I have? Number 2 or something? Because the thing is we got tons of overspray on this, so I'm just gonna raw dog repaint this thing. And that should actually look a lot better once I get all the particles off of it in a quick repaint. And we used Burgundy the first time. I think we blended a little black in at the base here. See, I just jammed the black in. And I'm back to the Burgundy just to get that mid-game while it's wet. A little wet blend technique right here. See, a little dark to bright. Here I just went raw. But it's still very wet, so I'm going to send some of that black in there. I'll do the rest with a little brush. And you can see on the inside here, I have to be careful, but I got overspray and I got to kind of just carefully reach in and get the inside. And I'm going to actually grab a little black. And I'm going to be careful as fuck. send really wet black red down there to try to cut out that like those final like white edge airbrush strokes I did. Snuck in to the gorget where I don't want it because I want it to stay dark in there. So there's like some bright ass yellow sticking in there now. So just a little wet black red from the gorget color should address that, you see. And real quick, we'll do a whip session here in a second. Let me get some love in the chat right there for Sunshine Grenadier, War Pigment, Frozen Hobbit. Thank you guys. Beast Mode Friday, engaged. We have a Top T promo. If you want a free STL, exclamation point Mammoth, sign up on the mail list. All right, I'm going to do some highlighting on the red, but first I'm going to do a little bit of stippling on the face. So let's grab some of the transparent yellow over here, some of the ochre, brown, orange. We're going to make a nice respectful. So there's some holes like right here. Put a sewing machine right up on them. Now there's one of my mistakes right there. I'm gonna stipple some brown around it, and I'm gonna convert it into a chip. Show the gentleman. Let me get some man love right there. The gentleman coming in like the legend that he is. 2x multiplier 46 bonus. Yo, Dizzles. Yo, my boy right there. No turtles allowed in chat. That's my brother gave it. He says, I want free STL. Sure. You got a 3D printer now? You want this model right here? So what we're going to do, pluck a little white. Just steal a little bit of that transparent yellow. Keep it high opacity, low moisture. And you just stipple right under those dots. Just give them the illusion of three-dimensionality. I mean, they are slightly three-dimensional, so that rides. We're going to move up to something more respectful on our fake one right here. And so we've only just begun using our paintbrush. You know, like it's so much airbrushing, and then we're just transforming it. If you're just tuning in, this box right here, this little snapshot, that is just some basic wet glazing technique over our airbrushing to build up this type of drama. A lot of this was airbrush, very simple techniques I teach in my curriculum. This guy's like a big lava monster. And we're just leaving that like the only part of that lore we're keeping intact is his base. Okay? And I'm taking kind of my formula for the rocks on the base, and I'm making him like a big rock monster construct, and we're kind of deliberately ignoring the elements of the model that are molten lava, like infusion. We're doing whatever the fuck we want. Big golem construct guy. So here's my burgundy right here. I'm going to take my burgundy with a little white in it, so it's going to get fun. And I'm going to move in right here. Some pretty raw dog highlights. And I like the burgundy, it stays on the purple side. Beautiful. High opacity, low moisture. Only a drop of white in there. We've got a real respectful shift. Now, depending on how ambitious we're going to get, I'm going to make a slightly more respectful version. I'm going to drop a couple of ghost lines. Right up here in the front. But more importantly, we're going to grab some of the black and burgundy. Semi-opaque and a little wet. Okay. And what we want to do is actually get inside those recesses carefully. Be careful with when you're dragging to stop and not drag black into your yellow down there. If you break the rules. See that? And we'll do more of that, but I'm going to do a whip break first. Just wanted to kind of get that snapshot. You can see where we're going. And again, we've got the transparent red right here. Go back in very carefully. And put a real dope eyeliner in there. Semi-opaque. Look at that shit. Oh my god. Fucking best painter on the planet. Fucking see that line? The absolute anxiety. So we'll do a whip break. We'll come back from the break, but we're going to keep transforming the rock parts of this guy into this type of definition as we move around. It's challenging because, like, if you go to their Instagram page, the way that their lore and everything canonically with the way they do their STL drops is this guy is definitely like a molten construct, fully, you know, more melty and fiery than rock left. Well, I don't care about shit like that. I like to make shit as crispy and contrasty as possible. I like colors, fucking hate low contrast, love high contrast. And really, I don't make that many plans, but when we did the base first, I like this rock color. I was like, that'd be neat if he was the same color. And so we're going to make his entire body resemble those rocks. And there's clearly all this like golem, you know, clockwork bullshit built into him and all this shit. So we're just going to challenge ourselves to pull those elements out of the model little by little and create something truly fucking unique rather than just like rock monster. And like I said, you could wash this guy, dry brush this guy, and do a bunch of easy OSL effects, no doubt, and he'll look pretty fucking good. But the whole point of like these D&D module drops from Mammoth to me is to go hard. Like, I'm not gonna like look at this guy. Like, you gotta go hard on this guy. I mean, he's big. He's as big as my fucking fist, man. Look at this guy. Maybe I'll take a little dalliance on these pipes. No, we'll leave the pipes alone. I don't know what they're going to be yet. So, gray, blue, black, white. That's the sequence. Let's jump on this shoulder up here. Okay? This should be fun. So, there's a lot of shape. And I'm just going to kind of freeform it, right? Gray makes it easy when the quantity that I need it. But really, black, white, and turquoise is all we're using here. You know, so what I do is I just kind of look at the shapes. Right? We already airbrushed it. So maybe I'll start like right here. Okay, semi-opaque, a little wet. Sneak a little black in right here. Grab a little white. Touch of the turquoise right here. Stipple in. Just really isolate this bulge in the shoulder. Stipplage right there. We go back in time. Just kind of work it out right here. No big deal. Let's move up. There's like a little triangle shaped rock right here. And like I said, it's already all airbrushed. I'm just augmenting what's there. Keeping it a little wet. Stipple in right here. And I'm just going to kind of jump around like that. Okay, using the same paints over and over again. And I'm going to have to get creative sometimes because the shapes are pretty amorphous, or pretty like random and amorphous. Is that a word? Sometimes Monet says I just straight make shit up. little bit of a strip of it right there. Be a little bit more white. And I'm just blocking it in. I'll use a detail brush later. And I'm just trying to cut in the shapes. You see? There's like kind of like almost like a diamond shape right here. And then like just like a dick right here. Let's get a little bit more black in there. And because I'm using the exact same paints, it's pretty easy to do in this like semi-opaque state of wet glazing. And I'm also taking the opportunity to take it off a little bit off of the blue into more of the gray. A little stippling of highlight right there. See that? Just finding the shapes, building that contrast. Amorphous is a word, but you also just make shit up all the time, LT says. Okay. That adds up. Okay, there's like another strip right here. Because I like the cool rocks, but my rock monster is a little on the blue side just because of the nature of airbrushing. So that's why I'm taking the opportunity to just gray them up a little bit. Ah, fucked up. Let's get a little darker. Stipple right in there. Right there. And all the real fine tuning of the contrast will come later. Okay, so there's like just like a strip right here. It's very blue, so now it's going to get more gray than blue. I'm going to just stipple a little bit of blue back in. A little bit more white. Just stipple that in, and it's very loose. Like, this would never take if we were just doing this over like primer. This would look like shit. But since it's all of its low opacity issues are going to be completely mitigated by the fact that there's already a base coat there of the exact same paints, this is where the magic happens. And this is the labor of love, right? This is where you might be tempted to do a bunch of dry brushing right here. But I'm dedicated to this precision. I'm not making every rock show up. I'm just kind of working the greater shapes. You see that? Getting a little bit more of that stony gray in there, like I said. To me, this is like a pretty fun process. Big shape right here. A little more white. You don't have to go. We don't have to go crazy. See, we just see. Look at that one. Look at this one. Look at how much more intrigue we just got out. Now we're gonna switch to the little guy. Okay. Let's pick up some of that black. Get everything. It's literally just black, blue. Make it nice and dark. Semi-opaque, a little wet. My man Reiner in chat. What's up, brother? Semi-opaque and a little wet. And now I'm going to do some pin washing here, where I'm going to create nice, strong borders, but also respect what's going on there. Right? I'm not just doing it with pure black. My man Reiner. I got to kick it with him at Adepticon this year. There. Create that nice defined edge. By lowering the opacity a little bit, you're going to get a better blur. By running it just a little wet, you're going to get inside those recesses easier. Some stipples, some heart pulls. And look at that definition. Kind of just go with the flow. Now that I've laid out most of it, I'm going to go into that, sharpening mode. And I'm making some of this is like just straight fake highlighting and shadows. Sometimes you just gotta make some shit up. And so I'm gonna run into that midfield highlight game. You see where I made some of this shit up in here? See how I'm just running with it? Just using the same collection of highlights and shadows. We're not particularly opaque with this step right here. It's a little on the semi-opaque side. As I build these respectful lines up. See that? We're going to jump down to something a little darker. Semi-opaque and a little wet right there. Go to our midfield right here. A little stipple action. Rinse it down. Let's get a little bit more white, a little bit more dedicated white here. See that? Beautiful. And now I'm just going in, just cling, 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 ping, ping. Getting that ludicrous definition. Top shelf highlights. And look at that snapshot. Pow! So it does. It's not even like that big of a pain of a. It's not that much of a pain in the ass. So over here, you see, we got to do some of that same reinforcement here. So we're going to get some, a little bit wetter than that. Oh shit, catching that raid. Yo, let me get some hype right here. Paco XO88 with the raid. Can I get some hype in this chat? Hit that follow button, show him some love. If you're just tuning in, we're doing this Colossus. If you're trying to get a free STL, exclamation point Mammoth. Just tuning in, you're like, what the hell is going on? Well, what's going on is we're taking this like lava pit monster and we're like, we're going to paint whatever the fuck we want. We're not going to use any washes or any dry brushing, nothing. We're just going hard. Comic books all day. I was very inspired by Age of Apocalypse, Joe Madureira art. And I'm going hard as fuck on this. Got some new people in chat. We airbrushed 90% of this. And now what we're doing is using our airbrush base, same paints, and we're just tweaking and generating more contrast. See how this looks versus that? So right here, we're just creating some like kind of artificial contrast right now. It's just turquoise and gray, basically. Semi-opaque, a little wet. We don't really have to worry about coverage because it's already there from the airbrush step. We're just augmenting. A little bit of pure white. Right there. Kind of just making the shapes up. The shapes are, I mean, they're there, but we're definitely taking a lot of artistic liberty on how aggressive the shape is. A little fake highlight action. We're gonna drag right here is a heart pull. Green Leaf, what's up, brother? Says life painting plastic. It's fantastic. You can brush my models, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation. Come on, Kenny. You fucking guy. Voodoo, the people want to know when you're going to start an OnlyFans account. I have one. So just get those top shelf highlights. These are higher opacity when I do that. Now up here, it's a little, this one's a little weird because you kind of like create like a weird shape here as it comes to a peak from multiple directions. Kind of just have to do your best there. And again, we're going to just fake it. Kind of just, it's a real subtle shape there that I'm really taking a lot of artistic license on. Should I get a little bit more white gray going here? Stipple in a little bit deeper. I'll disperse that. Get a little bit more white and just carefully give it a little love right there. We're going to run back to some pin wash game, some black. Kind of just like all of our colors kind of infused, minus the white. And we're going to slide in right here, semi-opaque and a little wet. Give ourselves a nice little shadow border right there. It's not pure black, and nor should it be. It's just kind of like the darkest blue-gray that seems reasonable. And you want it to oppose your highlights. Semi-opaque and just a little wet. We're going to disperse a little semi-opaque dispersal of this thick white line right here. That one's a little heinous. I'm going to do a little bit of love on this side. A little more white. See that? Just kind of sketching out the shape. A little highlight. Let's get a little moisture. Let's get a little bit of the dark gray black pin wash. Get to pretty much pure black. And lift that rock off the shoulder trim. See that? Wow, son. That's the gangster shit right there. Let's take a little side journey, a little side quest on the actual trim. Just, you know, it's inefficient, but I want to see what we can do with the trim. So let's take the burgundy, which is the predominant highlight here. Let's just get a nice opaque line of burgundy established. Okay, now let's grab some white. I'm not afraid to put white in the burgundy. I'll actually love it. It's fine. Let's get a little respectful. Strip of that highlight there. You see that? We're not repainting everything. We're just kind of augmenting. You see? Using high opacity, low moisture. Heart pull. There you go. One a little brighter. And we're going out on a limb here, guys, to make that shoulder pad have trim. You see what I'm saying? All right, now give me 1 second. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I gotta pee real bad. Be right back. All right, we're back. Yo, my man B-Core in chat. What up, player? So burgundy and white. Look how beautiful they look. Just a little bit more white. Right here. Wow, son. Let's just finish the shoulder pad out. Here's that first slash. Just a touch of white in it. There you go. Like so. So we are pushing it. I mean, like there is almost no. Oh, that was a little heavy-handed right there. Go back in time. There's almost no indicator that there's a frame there. Like it's so subtle. It's like it melted away. And we're choosing to dramatize that contrast there. Okay. LT, push it real good. Okay. Good old LT. Now we've got still like 40 minutes left, guys, in today's promos. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see if we can do a little bit more on this arm real quick. So we got some combination of our paint right here. Adels, Mafalda, Relva, thank you for the follow, both of you guys. Now here's like just a nice box right here. And like another box right here. See that? I'm going to take a little white. Just kind of bully that in. Find the right angle. Yo, Chaos Kev, my dude. I'm going to get some strong man love in the chat. Chaos Kev for the mayo. That's right, exclamation point. Real mayo. Chaos Kev, that's 230 bonus. Yo dogs for my dude right there. Chaos Kev, see him just grabbing those big rocks, painting those right there. Just quick, one and done. We've got, if we rotate this way, you see there's a bit of a, kind of a triangle in here. Again, I'm taking the opportunity to grade up a little bit. With semi-opaque gray. Let's get a little bit of that white blend. And it's so easy to keep it this wet and blurry. But normally nothing would happen. It'd be zero impact. You guys seen me do this before, the wet glazing strategy over the airbrushing technique. To get the little brush out now that I've reset most of that real estate right there. Let that ride. He's got this big, awesome arm here. So there's a lot of shape in here, okay? I'll just jump into it, kind of feel it out. So there's a bit of a shape to it like this. Go back to something a little darker. I'm going to downgrade to the small guy again. Chaos Kev for the mayo. Let's go down a notch. Let's get a little bit of that black blue mix. Right there. Right there. Just darken up inside that hole. Right up against that trim. Now let's flip the script, get a little bit more highlight going. Right there. Right there. Right there. Let's get back to the midfield a little bit. Back to the highlight. Gonna sneak in carefully right here. See that? Look at that arm. Let's go back to almost black. Rotate this way. Let's get a nice border between the trim and the rock. Right there. Semi-opaque and a little wet. Right there. Let's get a little bit more black inside of here. Like a hole. Let that dry for a minute. Move up here. You just want to get that definition established, see? Just kind of lock them in, build those borders. A little bit right there. Now let's get some highlight going, get some white, and blue, gray, everything you like. Now let's see if we can carefully drop some top shelf highlights. Higher opacity, a little moisture. That dog is going crazy. Yeah, you can't see him. Who that? Who that? Recoil, my dude. Can I get a 4x multiplier from my boy Recoil getting 92 bonus yo dogs? Recoil, thank you so much. Check it out. There it is. Recoil, high opacity, a little moisture, a little bit more white.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
Oh shit.
Cap, rub your dicks on the car as you run away. We are gonna have sex in your car. It will happen again.
Rottweiler, exclamation point soup. Thanks for the F Shack. 5x, 115 bonus yo DZs for my boy Rottweiler. How you feeling about this workup, Rottweiler? And Recoil. There it is. Pow! Aloe Rukar, thank you so much. And did Recoil get shit on? No, Recoil got his. Rottweiler, he gets shit on? No, Rottweiler got his. Thanks, guys. So we're going to pop it a little further. Look how fast this is actually going, right? You feel like it's going to be a nightmare, but it's actually not. A little stippling right there. Oh my fucking god. What the hell is going on up there? Tiny dog alert. Oh my god. Let me check. Someone knocked on the door. Post carrier, something. My dog was going crazy, so I was like, yo, we under attack? She was like, we're fucking under attack, Dad. It's like, no, we're not. We're literally not. Rhea Bright, I haven't heard that much barking. This is the last time my schnauzer went off. Is that like a joke? So we're just reinforcing. And look at how much work we actually got done today. We still have like 27 minutes left. You know, see how easy this technique is? Like, if there, okay, you know, like when they black light a crime scene full of jizz, and then you're like, oh my god, you know what I mean? And it's like a shockingly amount of coverage, but it's not full coverage. If we had like that technology on this, and it showed you how much of the model that wasn't this jizz I just threw on it was still there, you'd be shocked by how much in this shoulder, arm, and chest is barely being covered by the metaphorical jizz. It's not even remotely full coverage. So much of this original is showing through. We're probably only covering 40% of that total surface area when you factor in the opacity and stuff. It's the way they're building off of each other makes it so we don't actually have to do any coverage at all. All we need to do is get the blends and the shifts. So it's just, so the wetter a wet blend, the less impact it has, but the easier it is to blend. So a good wet blend should be like almost raw dog, but you got to be fast, right? It's harder to blend. This combination of utilizing the airbrush in conjunction with the wet glaze is easy. It's what we did on Thanos. Drummer, thank you for the follow. Pitch in the chat, 2 years back to back. What the fuck was even that analogy? Replay? Squabble, my man Arthur. We should bring a black light to LVO. We should not. That was your career, Rottweiler? Nice. Frozen Hobbit. Awful lot of dirty talk for a man not streaming from inside of a hot tub. LT, I have never been to a crime scene full of jizz. Well, according to TV, it's like always that way. Or maybe I'm just thinking of the other guys. Like, hey, like, you know when you go to a soup kitchen, LT? The old scratch and jack. So, our two crime scene investigator viewers are offended. Okay, so you know how, like, in the other guys, you imagine that they shine a black light inside the Prius. Okay, let's finish the arm. Let's rotate. You see there's some action on this side. But we could probably get away with less work on this side. Let's see here. Let's grab a little, start off with a little blue black, semi-opaque. And let's just kind of frame the borders. You see, we're just going to sketch it in super fast. And again, you were like, oh, I could wash this and dry brush this. Yeah, for sure. 100%. It'll look fine. There'll be contrast. I don't do tutorials on fine, though. You know what I'm saying? I feel like anyone could dry brush and wash something like this. So what's the point of the content at that point, you know? So some really quick, super respectful pin washing, which is just taking the same colors that are already there, lowering the opacity, keeping some moisture intact. Boom. Now you can see stuff, right? So now what we need to do is grab some highlight action, right? Which is some combination of the gray, white, and blue. Make sure visually it's brighter than what's there, but not like crazy brighter. Rottweiler. Probably more jizz at your local Long John Silver's. Yeah, the Bakersfield Long John Silver's. Yikes. So now what we're going to do is some top shelf highlights. So this is not like max opacity. It's definitely still semi. You just got to be careful. When you're keeping it a little wet like that, see how we're just doing the top shelf of everything? And you see that effect? It's always going where the shadow meets the next panel. You see that incredible contrast that jumps out? We're going to just kind of fake it right there. Kind of fucked up a little bit right there. It's okay. Easy to repair. You see how, like on something like that, you don't have to do much. We're going to go back in time to the pin wash. Right there. Kind of maybe visually split the difference. Be a little darker. The thing is, we airbrushed it all, so you don't really have to do everything. You don't have to get in like and fix everything. What I am going to do is take a little bit of the gray, semi-opaque, on her squabble. Oh, she'll be like, we're not staying here. So I want to gray it up just a little bit, so it's a little bit of a gray filter between the highlight and the midfields. And this will make it a little bit more desaturated, which is kind of the look I want for the rocks. Smooth out that line. Now, anywhere you want to pop the highlight out again, just take that pure white and just now it's be a little bit more in control. And just pop it out, you see. Mostly heart pulls. Rotate the model to make that easier. See, we're not repainting the line, we're just augmenting the line. And so that, see how fast the back was, we didn't have to do much. The bigger smooth areas, we had to do a little bit of wet glazing. Here was just like paint wash edge highlight. Okay, so you can do, there's a little bit poking through down here. So let's change brush size. So what we want to do again is just kind of find right there. Let's get a little bit of a blend going there. Semi-opaque and a little wet. See, I'm keeping that section separate. So you got like a section here. I probably can just skip right to the little brush, honestly. Let's go in for a highlight. While it's still wet, right there. Right there. Underneath that hole right there. Right there. Let's go back in time. You really can't even see some of this stuff. That's why I'm not too worried about it anymore. Let's kind of split the difference into that midfield and blur that line right there. And if you ever get confused, like how do you know how to blend it? Remember, it's just black, white, and blue, so it's just darker or brighter with some blue. So that's all I'm doing is I'm just kind of visually approximating what would make sense. See that? Just getting some of those hard lines in there. And since this is kind of really obscured under his spear, I'm not too married to how hard I'm gonna go in there. You know? I'm gonna go back up to this hole right here though, because it's big enough that I can get in there and do like another round of highlighting. Just some stipples inside there. It's like just a donut inside there. Now let's see, with enough time left, we have 16 minutes left. I think I can do a little bit of red action and just finish the action over here. So one riser, what's up? Those grays are coming out nice. Been a long time since I've been on the Twitch. Great to see you keeping the gangster and the beats. I am, brother. Exclamation point mammoth if you want free STLs too, homie. We're gonna take burgundy, which is a brand new color from Monument Hobbies. And this is just raw burgundy. Which I'm just carefully deploying over our burgundy mix that's already there. And I'm using it to kind of change the direction of some of these highlights, reinforce some opacity, wipe out some overspray. Be a second tier highlight on some of these drippy patterns. Looks almost like cogs. Okay. So now we're going to add some white straight to the burgundy, which makes it amazing looking. We're keeping it respectful for now. It's not like super white, just a little brighter. High opacity, low moisture, just some stipples right here. we go. Beautiful. Now we're going to ramp it up. More white, but less painting. One riser says, to be clear, the gray's on your head. What? Oh, is he making... Oh. Oh. He said I was old. So just going to pop some of these lines out. Just embed it in what we've already done. Get that nice ping, ping, ping. Man, burgundy is fucking dope. This is that new wave 4 burgundy from Monument Hobbies. This shit is sexy ass fucking color. I'm gonna run a quick tracer right here. I'm into that. Let's get even more white and do one final ping, ping, ping. Most magic boomification happens to us all eventually. See, we're just embedding just a little bit. See that? Raw Wireless says, which box set is Berg? What? Now I'm gonna reach in a little bit here. Which box set is Burgundy? Oh, it's the newest one, the expansion 4, I think. Whatever the newest number is. I'm gonna reach in here and bring a little of that black in. Semi-opaque and a little wet. Letting most of the airbrushing do the heavy lifting in there, because you barely can see it. But I want to just do a little stippling of highlights, because if somebody does turn the model to the side slightly, I want to be rewarded with a little ping. Oh, I got some paint buildup on my fucking brush. Yikes. Gotta pop the nipple off. Raw Wilder, after your Friday mishap? What happened on Friday? Most magic, not gonna lie, I wasn't into this guy, but you're making him look pretty cool. Most magic? Come on, man. You weren't into him when he was in the hot garbage phase? And now he's starting to look dope? You know I'm never gonna do you like that. All right, let's get this side real quick. Ugh. Gotta just draw some lines right here. See that? First round of hizzies. You want ballistic on Pop Goes the Monkey order? Oh. Did you get mad at somebody and then yell at them? Was that after I was like, probably email him? Because he was at Adepticon? Had you already gone hard? I'm going to be a little bit more gentle right here. Just gently augmenting the highlight game. I don't feel like doing any blends right there. Let's get a lot more white. A little more. Ping, 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 ping. God, painting is so easy. He's like, no, fucker, you were there when we redid my list. And I had like 8 beers and woke up to mega orders. Oh, that? Oh, yeah. You mean like when I was like, yo, buy all this shit and you bought it? I'm sorry. Well, I have a saying I've lived my life by. My brother, who's way smarter than me, says half the things I say are stupid, but this one, he's like, it's actually genius. It's so dumb, it's smart. And I was like, you gotta spend that money before you spend that money. He's like, yeah, I have nothing for that. It's good. I've been saying that shit for like 20 years. Okay, when I don't know what to do, black. I don't want the spear to be the same color as him, so let's just get it black because it's out of focus right now. So if I can take it to black right now, I can visualize what I want. And I can paint anything off of black, and I feel like it's going to need to be dark anyway, so booyah. Going pretty raw dog here. Like right from palette to model, just spread it out. You see, and now we can make decisions about where the spear's going, because obviously it's made of rock too, but we're not going to have it be all low contrast, the same rock. See how sharp that is now? You can see shit suddenly. Ziggy, thank you for the resub. You didn't get. Luckily, you didn't get to the 3D printing game. 3D printing game. Since I have the black here, let me just fix some of the overspray from earlier. We painted the pipes black too. And I got some yellow overspray here. I don't know what the pipes are going to be, but, you know, things. Now, I do know the spear is definitely going to be is not going to be it's going to have some effect. So I'm going to just start my journey by taking the neutral gray right over all this. Because I'm probably going to pull the airbrush back out for that. And a lot of times the airbrush, what I'm looking to do is augment, not repaint. So I'm going to repaint it by hand just real fast. I want it to be brighter. It's wet and gray. I'm just shoving white into that gray right now. So it's brighter gray. So I'm going to do something with it. And so it's going to be reset. Like imagine it's just primer gray. Don't know what that thing is going to be just yet. Let me grab this black again, smaller brush. And let's just carefully paint this handle. Which is kind of a weird choice. That he has this this just perfect little cup. And we're almost out of time, about less than 1 minute left. I wasn't even paying attention. Right now we have Sunshine Grenadier on top for our top T giveaway. Double yo dogs, you guys. We have no overtime. That's about all we can do right now. Joe Bath, thank you for the follow. 28 seconds left on the Klizak. Grab a little burgundy and black because I can sort of reach right here and bring that around the edge.